changing, I can't stand it.
Still unfolding right now in New Haven tonight. People collapsing all over downtown, overdosing. Tonight, the total has topped 75 people, and it's still going up. Police have one man in custody. The victims overdosing one after another, apparently on K2 synthetic drug, marijuana, that some Yale doctors tell us has been laced with fentanyl.
It has becoming a serious problem with one drop, just one small drop of the THC oil is equal to 3 joints. So when they take a puff of that, they don't realize that they're smoking a lot. They're putting a lot of THC into their system, and we've had several students go by ambulance here at Rio Rancho High School for that, overdose effect. So it has become a serious problem.
No.
So far, there have been no reported deaths. The city's resources are spread very thin at this hour. Transports continue to the hospital as we speak. The DEA is involved to figure out what is in these drugs. One man who may have sold them is under arrest.
Do you think the increase in potency in products such as marijuana led to a lacing of drug products and thus increasing the overdose rate?
Easy accessibility to things, and then you really truly don't know what you're purchasing when you get it from different areas. And so the chances is anytime you take a drug, there's a chance that overdose possibility that first time or the next time or any time you put something in your body like that. You never know who or what has been in contact with what you're purchasing or getting.
Darren and Ann, this is unbelievable. We have never seen anything like this. People in law enforcement who have been doing this for decades say they've never seen anything like it. We're going on 24 hours of this, 76 overdoses, 71 people transported to the hospital. Tonight, emergency responders say that they've been finding people falling to the ground in cardiac arrest, convulsing, eyes rolling in the back of their heads. And tonight, that emergency room doctor at Yale says this wasn't just K2. She believes this was K2 laced with fentanyl.
Super scary. I do know that at Cleveland this year that they actually had fentanyl in their school, which I've heard is just incredibly dangerous.
Moved on to more potent drugs, like heroin. Now, an increasing number of Americans are overdosing on an even more powerful opioid.
Fentanyl is taking the opioid epidemic to a new level. More potent than heroin.
Another drug is surging. Fentanyl, so potent, you could die with the syringe still in your arm.
So I absolutely come from the viewpoint that there is no type of person that takes drugs or becomes drug addicted. I worked in Belen for a really long time with a lot of low socioeconomic. It was a much poorer community than this. And somehow people always seem to find or get access to drugs, whether it's by getting access to them illegally or through a prescription. But then I came to Rio Rancho, which was higher socioeconomically. A lot more parents were involved with their students' education, but I still saw that same drug abuse culture in both communities. So I absolutely do not believe that it depends. There's a type of person. I think 8 different ages, ethnicities, male and female. I just don't think there is one type of person who gets addicted to drugs.
Baby, I don't understand this. You're changing, I can't stand it. My heart can't.
One specific drug being marijuana, the THC. Everybody's starting to experiment with putting those inside the E6, the THC, and also as well as dabbing, the wax, the THC wax, the potency as well as when you go to Colorado, you can get a certain type of strain of marijuana. And I think what's dangerous with some of these marijuanas is that they're synthetic. With synthetic, you can't really control the amount that you're getting. So that is posing a great risk for whoever is using it. I know that several students have had a really bad reaction to using THC is because they have no idea what they're putting in their system. It could be a different strain, it could be laced with something else. It becomes very dangerous, the synthetic part of that. They don't grow it, they buy it, and it's sold in Colorado. So I think it poses a great risk to a lot of teenagers.
Top story tonight, we're following the unbelievable mass overdose today in Brooklyn. People call them K2 zombies. That's because that's exactly what they look like when they're high. And the scene today, it really looked like something out of Night of the Living Dead. Users mindlessly stumbling through the streets of Bed-Stuy in the middle of the day, passing out on the street, twitching and vomiting.
Yeah, you basically had 33 people overdose at the same time on synthetic marijuana, which is also called K2 or spice. This stuff causes hallucinations, psychotic episodes, paranoia. You see this and you just wonder why anyone would even want to use it.
Yeah, Pix 11's Jay Dow live in Bed-Stuy tonight, where the K2 zombies are making life pretty miserable and dangerous for people there.
Sit up, sit up, sit up. You just fell down, right? We got a 9 minutes for you. Come on.
The first thing we noticed Tuesday afternoon on this short stretch of Broadway in Bed-Stuy, Brooklyn, is that we have seen this before.
Describe how you think the drug culture has changed.
It's horrible. The access for anyone, is too easy. Students are able to get drugs on, the black market, on the streets, on our campuses, I'm sure. It's just very easy for students to get all types of drugs. Probably any type of drug they wanted, they can find it if they work hard enough at it.
Is it another one? People dropping like flies on the New Haven Green. Sirens blaring all day, one after the next, taking dozens and dozens of overdose victims to the hospital.
I seen one person way over there falling on the ground, and then after that, I'm running my bike and I'm running this way, and I seen another person fall on the ground. I'm like, who is passing out these fake drugs?
Trying to return people to service, they were passing victims on the ground.
Yale's emergency room slammed.
Although many people, thought that they were getting K2 or spice, at least reports from the emergency department, have been that this was actually contaminated with fentanyl. Fentanyl is certainly an incredibly potent drug that is responsible for many overdoses, both fatal and non-fatal, in our state and really across the country right now.
As emergency responders rushed to the scene, they found dozens of people nauseous and unconscious on the green.
Stop moving.
One man said they were dropping like the plague.
It's just a scary scene.
I believe that we as providers, like healthcare providers, counselors, the nurses in the schools, our teachers, I think we feel like we kind of know how much drug use is out there, but I think the reality is it's even much larger, because I'm sure there's tons of students that are engaging in those behaviors that we don't even know about. So I think we see it, but do we see it all? Absolutely not. But obviously there's been a huge rise in the use of marijuana. And I don't know if that's a rise either, because people have been smoking dope forever, but maybe just the fact that it's been legalized in other states. A lot of people feel like it's a safe drug, so I think a lot of students do it because they feel like it's not as dangerous maybe as another kind of drug. So I definitely think there's a lot of marijuana use. Super scary. I do know that at Cleveland this year, that they actually had fentanyl in their school, which I've heard is just incredibly dangerous. But definitely alcohol and marijuana, I think, are the two drugs kids are doing.